How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Bitcoin update, and it actually played out exactly as I anticipated. From Friday, there was another attempted breakout, but I made everyone well aware that the 20 daily EMA is the resistance that needs to see a candle close above, and there was a pump on Friday, but it just did not make sense why they chose Friday for the day to be the market pump, simply because it's going into the weekend where we've also got an extra day of the weekend being today, where the stock market is actually shut. And usually there's low volume on those sorts of days, the weekend, because there's a Bitcoin chart that has CME gaps as it opens and closes with the stock market. So a pump on Friday is just not a good thing because we're just going into not the best conditions. And so it tailed off and started going back down. And then we had a whole bunch of FUD coming out on the weekend, had that Libra token as well, which is sucking liquidity. And then there was a pump on Trump last week as well, which got fully retraced. And now what is about to happen on the Bitcoin chart? It looks like it's attempting to lose this key level of support. Now, it's not yet actually confirmed. We do have 4 hours left of the daily candle close, and I will make an update tomorrow. But one thing we must take a look at, I'm going to zoom into it right now. It's the moving averages, which are about to potentially form a bearish cross. Now, this is the 20 and the 55. This is something that you do not want to ignore right over here. So if we see them starting to cross, this is a signal of a downtrend. So very negative pattern that could be forming over here. That'll give validity to this potential double top. One top, two tops. As I've been saying all the way up in this 100k area, I was bearish while Bitcoin is trading underneath 105 and 107k. It had pumped from 97 up until there, and it looked like market was recovering, and then it just rolled over because it was still a lower high, considered a lower high. Market rolled over, went to new lows, capitulated down to my expected target area, which gave a short-term bounce, and we bled down into filling the wick, which I was explaining would happen. The market a couple weeks ago then gave this falling wedge pattern, and last week we actually broke out and retested it. So it should use that to build momentum upon and pump it into 102 to 107 to tackle this and flip it into support. If we ever want to see prices as high as 140,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, we need to see it pumping through the moving averages, at least bare minimum. As you can see, very early on, even just sub 100k could get up into here and reject and continue lower. But its ultimate goal, if you want to see higher highs, if you want to see altcoin season, if you want to see Bitcoin dominance falling, then Bitcoin must reclaim the moving averages and the red box. You can't pump into it, it's still considered lower. So it must flip it in support, otherwise we continue lower. And we haven't even managed to get that market relief rally yet, even with the breakout. And given a whole past week to go ahead and do it, of course it chooses Friday. Now here on the Bitcoin chart, you can see this was Friday. There was an attempt to break. It closed underneath, and then the weekend is not a good situation to be in because failing on Friday means you're not going to get the breakout the rest of the week either, the rest of the weekend either. And today being another day that the stock market shut, the rest of the week we need to see sort of like a God candle, not necessarily a God candle, but we just need to see a breakout from here. We need to see Bitcoin reclaiming the moving averages, otherwise a bearish cross will form, and you haven't seen that in this correction. Because here's the 20, here's the 55, here's the 20, here's the 55. On the lower ends, when you're losing the key levels of support like you have over here, they're nowhere near. Here, they're about to cross over. So there's a huge risk at the moment on the chart. We don't want it to develop worse because then it's actually looking to sweep the lows here and tap into the 80s, which I was saying all the way up here. Saying all the way up in the 100, 110,000. Well, in that range between 100 and 110,000. That 10k range up here in this red box. I was saying, look, if this holds as a resistance, 105 to 107, the goal is to get down into 91, 93k. And that target was met of mine with the expectation that the bounce will be a lower high. And we're seeing that all developing to be true. Something that I was saying near a month ago. And the risk is because we've seen so many longs being placed from this area, it makes sense to go underneath, sweep the low to grab liquidity. And the longer that we spend in this range, you can see day by day, this keeps dragging up higher. On capitulation day, this was down at 83,000. Now it's hovering pretty much 85K. So that's great. The longer it takes to come down, this will drag up more. So I'm very hopeful, even if we see this breakdown and loss of this support, I'm really, really hopeful that it will just be a correction still, sweep of the lows and then reclaim it into new all-time highs. That's what we'd fucking love to see. But the risk is, of course, if you're ever losing this key level support, it could turn into resistance. And losing the 200 EMA would start a newly formed downtrend. Don't know what that would mean for the alts. You'd have to say a bearish market. But at the moment, my immediate concern is this potential bearish cross, which means that we want to head back down into this key level support. 91, 93K. There is one more level at around, let me just share it with you. So yeah, around 93.6, let's just call it and round it up to as well 94K. So this area here, 93.6 to 94. This is also, let's say, one more key level of support slightly above that final green box. So at the moment, losing this key area will lead us down into this zone over here. So, but I think that at that point down there, we would actually form the bearish cross. We would have to hope that it's a lagged signal and more of a calling the bottom rather than starting a new trend. But yeah, if we ever do lose this, then it's of course validating that bearish signal. So just wants to bring your attention to that today. What needs to happen now going forward is Bitcoin actually bouncing from exactly where it is, 95K, and then reclaiming the 20 daily EMA, which was what I was saying last week. It needs to get above the 20 daily EMA simply to change the trend. It has the bullish pattern, the market printed this pattern, but it's actually not breaking out and it's now rolling over. Still got the rest of the week to sort this, and so I need to see 97.8, 97.9K reclaimed with the daily candle close, and it could start a move back up towards 100 to 107. If 107 is broken, flipped into support, we actually start a move up between 115 to 140,000 US dollars. That's it from me today. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you want to get in on some more exclusive content and some exclusive live streams of mine where I mentor you how to use the charts just like me. Use the links down below for further education. Cheers.